Dun, 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 dun.
The way this film was being marketed in reference to its featurettes reminds me of Iron Fist to a degree, which I guess that's a good fitting association because they're both centered in sort of like martial arts type intense fighting projects. Even though this one I'm sure is way more violent than Iron Fist was. But Iron Fist, you remember this years ago with season 2, and I'm assuming they did this in particular because one of the things that, even though I liked parts of Iron Fist season 1, I understand the pacing would probably throw people off. I get that. It was more so business-centric in the first part rather than action sequence-oriented. I mean, the action sequences of what they had were good, but there was clearly a direction that, for some fans, are like, this is a really slow Marvel Netflix show. It was a bit unusual in that regard, and I can totally understand criticism, even though I did enjoy that as somebody who, is fascinated by, business and stuff like that and the way that whole industry works. One of the things they did, though, in season 2, because, again, they were trying to really bring back a lot of the fans that said, well, the first season was so bad, which, again, I don't think it was unwatchable by any means. I think it's still very much enjoyable. But they did something with season 2. They started making these featurettes focusing on the action choreography. And, in fact, brought in the choreographer himself and had him evaluating the fighting sequences. Maybe in particular to make sure that audiences were seeing that, hey, we're actually taking, steps to make these action sequences look really good on screen. And I think it did work in large part. The second season was infinitely better than the first one in that regard. And, the action sequences were absolutely sold. The combat was beautiful to watch. We're seeing the same thing here, I guess, maybe not for the same particular reasons, but a focus on the combat exclusively with this new Mortal Kombat movie, which the fact that it's, got combat in the name, and the fact that these games are very well known for their very, very, very bloody action sequences. I'm not a big gore person myself, but I do love intense hand-to-hand fighting sequences, especially with a lot of, cool weaponry. And you bring also into this respect, each of the characters seems to have a bit of a different ability, whether it's a power or, certain weaponry. This series this movie, I'm assuming maybe it'll become a series eventually. It's got serious potential. So let's watch this new featurette focusing on the combat exclusively, I believe, or the evolution of it for Mortal Kombat. We're going to watch this first. We're going to talk about it more in my condensed version. Let's watch the video together. Okay, here we go.
Listen carefully. Watch. Learn. Mortal Kombat has begun.
There's a war coming.
We need to fight before it's too late.
It's funny that some of the characters have similar maneuvers to one another. Yeah, it's been brutal from the beginning.
It was revolutionary at the time. I liked the idea that we could bring these characters to a level that hadn't really been seen before. In the games, the fighting is brutal.
Fight!
And so you've got to hire these people that have that ability.
Excellent.
The fight scenes are epic.
Yeah, I believe that.
It's mind-blowing what they do, really.
The fatalities are sickeningly violent.
Okay, so it's going to be a hard watch for me. I mean, I could kind of tell that in the first trailer, but the fact you mentioned it's going to be bloody, I guess it's faithful.
We needed to cast some really amazing, talented people to make it feel real. Lewis Tan's an incredible athlete, incredible fighter. The guy works so hard. It was just unbelievable. He just did not stop.
I come from a fighting background.
He was in Iron Fist as well, right? I think he was. If he's a character I'm thinking of, he was just...
There's so much fighting in this movie that a lot of times...
Well, he was a one-off in the first season.
We need to practice for some other fight that's going to take place because we just don't have enough time.
Thanks, nice sound effects there.
I knew Joe was going to be Sub-Zero.
No, that was not the trailer, and that was not me.
Joe's got that pure athleticism.
I made the mistake of watching The Raid a couple nights before we fought, and I go, I gotta fight this dude? I gotta fight that dude?
Joe was faster than everyone. Joe was too fast.
Joe was so fast, they had to ask him to slow it down for the camera. It was like 2 guys that's ever happened to. Joe Taslim and Bruce Lee.
A fight scene and a drama scene, they are the same. In a drama, you have the lines, but in a fight, it's just the agony, struggle, the pain, those are our lines.
You cast for what's in their brain, what they've learned over the years, especially with something like martial arts. impossible to bring someone up to his level quickly. That's just not going to happen. The same goes for Hiroyuki Sanada. They both have a very similar set of qualities in that they have a presence, they have a look about them.
I really like what we're, heavily investing in
to make
here with the marketing.
Between Sub-Zero and Scorpion. A little mixture between game and authentic Japanese style.
Oh, that's cool. I would say I would imagine it'd be
Watching
very
those
true to
two
form in that
on
regard,
set
but it's
was
nice to
one of
hear the
great
layers that they
privileges
brought
I'll
in.
ever have in my life.
That is like really good fight sequences. Oh, we're gonna get to see the sequence again. Oh, I was gonna say, are we gonna do the blood blade thing? Because that was so cool the first time. Even as somebody, see, that's the type of blood and gore that I could sit through because that was actually really well done. It's like, hey, it doesn't look too graphic. It literally formed a sword out of blood. I mean, it was really intense, but really cool visual. That looks great. I love the fact, again, they were emphasizing the combat and really describing, not only how it flows, in particular, from this new adaptation project from what was, formerly, it's been a long-running history among the video games. I mean, how many Mortal Kombat games are there? There seems to be a lot. I know the newer one's what was it, Mortal Kombat 11 or something like that? I think it was 11. I might have that wrong, but it's a pretty extensive franchise. A lot of coverage in that regard. I'm very impressed with what I'm seeing. I really am. I think this is going to be a very strong release. So I know it is, because I know a lot of people have been talking about it. It's been out since I first looked at it. And I think what we're seeing here, it has a very promising future. Possibly maybe new films too? I don't know. I mean, I'm going to give it a look for myself, but I think it's got potential, even if I'll be sitting there at some points going, this is a bit, too much for my liking with some of the sequences. And part of the reason I never played the game. I one day will, because I never covered the game initially. I will one day. I still have it on the list. Again, I've just it's gotten buried over time, but I did plan to give the game a look to see what is that exactly like beyond just fatality sequences, because that's all I've seen of the game so far. And I understand the new one also includes some character cameos that are kind of cool. But I'm particularly really excited to watch this movie. I mean, I think that if there's anything that's going to bring me into the Mortal Kombat franchise, at least on the initial, it's going to be this movie. This is, I think, definitely one I will try watching. It's going to be a first introduction, but I'm very excited to check it out for myself. What do you guys think about Mortal Kombat so far? Feel free to let me know down below. And what do you think about the marketing, the fact that we're emphasizing some, the beauty of the action sequences? Let me know down below. Don't forget to look at stuff for like, subscribe, and the bell until we get to look at more trailers in the future for more Warner Brothers same-day releases. I will see you guys at that point, or whatever point that happens to be. But for now, thanks for watching this video. I love you guys. Don't forget to love yourselves, fellow man. God bless, and peace.